I am the true heiress. On the very first day of being recognized, I was scalded with hot soup by the fake heiress Eleanor, leaving me disfigured, and then pushed off the rooftop, resulting in broken bones. Instead of standing up for me, my biological parents urged me to forgive her. Seeing this, Eleanor became even more brazen and, while I was sound asleep, called in a group of thugs to assault me, furious. I was about to take Eleanor down with me when my biological brother arrived and pushed me out the window to my death. After death, I saw my biological parents curse me as a jinx and throw my remains into the pigsty for the pigs to devour. Overwhelming rage caused me to be reborn again on the first day, and I became bound to the family bears the burden system. This time, I want to see if you can generously forgive Eleanor after suffering in my place. A mechanical voice rang out, Kathy. You have successfully bound the family bears the burden system. I couldn't help but smile. Looking at the familiar scene, I shouted in my heart, damn it, I've finally been reborn. I'll never be as meek as I was in my past life again. At the dining table, I deliberately picked up a piece of fish and sighed at Eleanor. Sigh. I've only smelled fish this fragrant when Eleanor's birth mother was entertaining clients. Eleanor's hand, holding the fish, paused for a moment. Her eyes instantly reddening with anger. My birth mother, Ms. Fiona, immediately patted her back to comfort her. Eleanor bit her lip and switched to scooping a bowl of freshly made soup instead. In my past life, Eleanor splashed this pot of piping hot soup on my face simply because I said, this soup is so delicious. I've never tasted anything like it before. Eleanor took it as me mocking her. The entire pot was poured onto my face, as I was about to retaliate in pain. My own mother stopped me and said, she's still young and doesn't know better, so please forgive Eleanor. She's still young, but I was clearly born on the same day as Eleanor. To get through the college entrance exams smoothly, I endured it, but my compromise only brought endless torment from Eleanor. I won't let it happen again in this lifetime. Watching Ms. Fiona shoot me a dissatisfied glance. Don't speak while eating or sleeping. I summoned the system with my inner voice. System. Let my biological mother bind this suffer in my stead. System first, with the pain intensity increased by 1,000 times from the original. As the system replied that it had been successfully bound, I started chattering incessantly again at Eleanor, who was ladling soup. I wonder about my imprisoned father. Oh, no, he's not my father anymore. He's Eleanor's biological dad. I looked at Eleanor and said to her word by word, her biological father who committed multiple crimes. I wonder if he can still enjoy such delicious soup now. Before Eleanor could speak, her knight in shining armor, my own brother Kevin, couldn't sit still. He slammed his chopsticks heavily on the table and started yelling at me. Did your teeth fall out? How come even eating can't shut your mouth? Didn't your parents teach you the saying, no talking during meals or sleep? I slowly put down my chopsticks and looked at him calmly. That's right. My biological parents never taught me that. And my adoptive mother was a prostitute, while the other was a rapist. Of course they didn't teach me such noble manners. Kevin was so angry with me that he couldn't speak. Mr. James and Ms. Fiona's faces turned as ugly as if they'd swallowed a spoonful of flies. I said these words while looking directly at Eleanor. I knew Eleanor had always been obsessed with appearances, even before she knew she was a fake heiress. She had freely mocked my family and hurled all sorts of vicious curses at me. When she found out that her biological parents were such people, I heard she vomited for a whole day, took showers for 2 days, and even planned a complete blood transfusion. I knew she was very sensitive about this. That's why I deliberately said it in front of her. Listening to her teeth grinding, I bet she must be feeling terrible right now. Sure enough, her face flushed red as she picked up the pot of hot soup and splashed it directly onto my face. Go on, keep talking. You love to talk so much. Let's see how you'll speak when your mouth is scalded. The soup splashed onto my face, but I felt no pain at all. Meanwhile, my mother beside me let out a horrified scream before covering her face and rushing to the bathroom. I know this is the system at work. The father and son of the James family, after confirming that Eleanor's hand wasn't burned, rushed to the bathroom to check on their mother without a second thought for my well-being. In the hall, only Eleanor and I remained. Eleanor's taunts continued to echo. Kathy, see, no matter how I treat you, they can't bear to say a harsh word to me. In the James family, you have no status whatsoever. I am the true and rightful heiress of the James family. Eleanor was right. In the James family, I truly have no standing. I'm not even as valued as the dog at the front door. The only reason my biological parents brought me back was out of sheer necessity, just to silence the gossip. In my previous life, they had discovered as early as my elementary school years that I was their biological daughter. However, to spare Eleanor's feelings, they knowingly left me in others' hands, enduring a hellish existence, without acknowledging me or providing any financial compensation. It wasn't until Eleanor and I attended the same high school that I accidentally uncovered the truth. In response, I devised a plan to publicly reveal our true relationship during the coming-of-age ceremony. In front of numerous influential figures, only then, under pressure, did they reluctantly take me back. I put down the tissue I was about to use to wipe my face and smirked at her. Are you really sure they won't say a single harsh word to you? Then let's wait and see. With that, before Eleanor could react, I pressed her head into another freshly served bowl of spicy boiled fish. Cough, cough, Kathy, you're insane. The temperature of the spicy boiled fish was much higher than that of my bowl of soup. Eleanor's screams were also several times more agonizing than my cries in my past life. The James family's house was so large that Eleanor's cries for help went completely unheard. This delighted me, as I could now torment Eleanor to my heart's content. I am a kind person. After pulling Eleanor out of the spicy hot pot, I quickly shoved her face into the cold salad. After the heat, of course, comes the cold compress. After she let out a scream, I shoved her into the dish of live marinated crabs. Eleanor kept crying out for her mother in pain. Your mother can't even take care of herself right now. How could she have time to save you? Just as I was about to throw Eleanor into the dragon fruit juice to color her face, a frantic figure pushed me hard to the ground. Kathy, you're insane. The sound of bones cracking rang out at that moment. I saw Mom's face scrunch up like a walnut. Even as a bystander, I couldn't help but gasp for her. It must have been excruciatingly painful. Eleanor cried as she complained to them. Dad, look what sister did to me. My face hurts so much now. No wonder it hurts. It's almost swollen into a pig's head. James's face darkened as his eyes kept darting between Eleanor and me. Finally, his gaze settled on me as he scolded. You're insane. Look what you've done to your sister. People from small households have no manners. I fought back without backing down. Eleanor splashed me first. I was just defending myself when I hit her. You only allow Eleanor to hit me, but won't let me fight back. I snorted coldly. Your so-called noble upbringing doesn't seem much better to me. James was too angry to speak and instead began examining Eleanor's injuries. Kevin was so distressed that he rolled up his sleeves, clenched his fists, and prepared to assault me again. I quickly stood up, stretched my legs, and got ready to deliver a fatal counterattack to his family jewels. I didn't get to see Kevin clutching his crotch in agony, but instead, I saw Mom grabbing Chen Kang's hand and pushing him aside. Kevin, stop. You're not allowed to hit your sister. Kathy, does your face hurt? Mommy will apply medicine for you right away. Mrs. Fiona, while holding her own face, frantically searched for the first aid kit for me, looking utterly ridiculous. Mom, I'm hurt worse than she is. No matter how much Eleanor screamed, Mrs. Fiona paid no attention to her. Her current focus is entirely on my face, because if I feel pain, she'll feel even more. But if she were to observe carefully, she would see that although my face is red, it's not from a burn. Kevin walked up to Ms. Fiona with a puzzled look on his face. Mom, Kathy hit Eleanor. I was just standing up for Eleanor. Why did you stop me? At the same time, Eleanor's tears flowed endlessly as if they cost nothing. She sobbed softly and accused Mrs. Fiona. Mom, didn't you say you loved me the most? Why are you still siding with my sister after she did this to me? Eleanor cried out in anguish. Is it because you know she's your biological daughter and I'm not? So this is how you treat me? Mom was so frightened that she immediately tried to explain, but only I could hear the words she spoke. To others, she just appeared dazed. When I first bound the system, I made it a condition that the bound person couldn't reveal the system's existence to anyone else, otherwise, they would suffer a 100-fold electric shock. Ms. Fiona was in a difficult position to speak out. After all, Eleanor was the child she had cherished for so many years. After putting down the ointment, she began to scold me, even if Eleanor struck first. You shouldn't have been so harsh with her, Kathy. You've truly disappointed me. I'm punishing you by not allowing you to eat for 3 days. With that, she patted Eleanor on the shoulder and promised to compensate her with a pile of things. I watched as Ms. Fiona's eyes turned red from suppressing the pain, so I mustered all my strength and kicked the table over. Then I yelled at Ms. Fiona, Fiona, your favoritism is way too obvious. It's so biased it could cross the Pacific Ocean. If you didn't want to acknowledge me, you should have just given me a large sum of money from the start. That would have been better than making me feel so uncomfortable now. Ms. Fiona had just finished clutching her waist when she had to start clutching her foot again. I suppressed my laughter and slapped my own face several more times. You're just upset that I hit your adopted daughter. Now I'm hitting myself a few times. Are you satisfied? Ms. Fiona, standing nearby, kept crying out in pain. Stop hitting. Stop hitting. Ignoring her pleas, I only hit myself more fiercely. After all, it wasn't me who was in pain. Everyone present was stunned, except for Eleanor, whose eyes gleamed with an unusual light, as if she couldn't wait for me to exert more force. I rolled my eyes and, using my head, pushed Eleanor's stomach toward the stone pillar as I ran. While running, I shouted at Ms. Fiona, since you don't like me and falsely accused me, there's no point in me living on. In the blink of an eye, Ms. Fiona, driven by the instinct to survive, immediately crouched halfway and grabbed hold of me. Kathy, Mom was wrong to blame you. Please don't do anything foolish. If you want me to live, you must promise me one thing. Mrs. Fiona was terrified, fearing I might die. If I died, she would have to die with me. In her panic, she blurted out, I'll agree to anything. Just don't die. My eyes lit up. Really? Ms. Fiona nodded. I pointed at Eleanor before me with a radiant smile. I want Eleanor to move out of this house and go live in the old residence. Seeing Ms. Fiona still hesitating, I forcefully headbutt Eleanor again. Mom, if you don't agree, I'll die right now. Immediately, Eleanor kept cursing at me in pain. You're crazy, Kathy, even if you hit a pillar. No, even if you hit a city wall. Mom wouldn't kick me out. I agree to send Eleanor back to the old house. Kathy, please don't hurt yourself. Mrs. Fiona gasped in pain while tightly gripping my hand. Indeed, everyone loves themselves first. Even though she dotes on Eleanor, she still values her own life more. Eleanor was the first to react, shrieking, Mom, you've been fooled by Kathy. She never intended to die. If she really wanted to, why would she use my stomach as a cushion? She's just trying to blackmail you. I didn't argue, simply mimed choking myself in front of Mrs. Fiona. Mrs. Fiona was so frightened that she immediately ordered Butler Wilson, send Eleanor to the old mansion right now. Now it's my turn to flash a provocative smile at Eleanor. I mouthed at her, idiot, your mom doesn't want you anymore. Seeing that Ms. Fiona wouldn't help her, Eleanor pinned all her hopes on Mr. James. She hugged Mr. James and cried, Dad, do you remember when I was little, just because Wang Dong's son lightly hit me, you were willing to give up closing that big deal just to stand up for me. If you won't stand up for me, Dad, then I'll leave this house. After all, you know I'm not your biological daughter, and Mom doesn't love me anymore. With that, she turned to go upstairs and pack her things. Kevin and Mr. James were so startled they quickly grabbed her to stop her. Mr. James persuaded Ms. Fiona, are you really going to make Eleanor move out? Although she's not your biological daughter, you've raised her for 18 years after all. In the end, Ms. Fiona couldn't harden her heart. She wanted to beg me. But I made a throat-slitting gesture at her again. Since Mom doesn't want me anymore, then I'll, no. She had no choice but to refuse James and Kevin's request with a dark expression. My mind is made up, if you still acknowledge me as your mother and wife. Don't say another word. With that, she massaged her waist and head as she went upstairs. James and Kevin exchanged glances, neither daring to persuade her further. Eleanor didn't forget to throw harsh words at me before leaving. Kathy, don't celebrate too soon. I will definitely be back. I didn't speak, just kept hitting her with pomelo leaves. Of course you'll come back. Without you, this show can't go on. That night, I searched for the top 10 torture methods and experimented with each one on myself. I had barely started when Mom rushed into my room, suppressing her anger, and asked, Kathy, what are you doing? Why are you poking your feet with a needle? The eye drops I had applied earlier took effect, tears streaming down my face. I sobbed, Mom, it's because I saw those jewelry pieces in the magazine and really wanted them, but I couldn't afford them, so I started poking myself with a needle. Ever since I was little, whenever I craved something but couldn't buy it, I used this trick. Ms. Fiona's eyes were red, and she looked heartbroken for me, but I knew her eyes were red from being spoiled. She sighed and said, Don't hurt yourself. You're now the young lady of the James family. I'll buy you whatever you want. After speaking, she handed me a card. After she left, I used the money from that card to buy a pile of gold and the most collectible jewelry. I even bought the 2 3 million hairpin that Eleanor had been longing for but couldn't bring herself to purchase, and posted it on my social media. The caption reads, "The hairpin was bought for me by Mom." 2 hours after I posted on my social media, Eleanor stormed back in a huff. At that time, only Mr. James and I were having breakfast at the dining table, while Mrs. Fiona had gone to the hospital for a checkup. When Mr. James saw Eleanor coming, he pretended to have something to do and went to the restroom. I knew he was giving Eleanor the opportunity to hit me, and Eleanor didn't disappoint, slapping me across the face. "You're something else, Kathy. What kind of spell did you cast on my mom? Why has she become a completely different person since you came back? She used to dote on me the most. She actually bought you a 2.3 million hairpin. She never let me buy one before." As she spoke, she raised her other hand, ready to slap me again. Just as the slap was about to land, Mr. James appeared. He pushed Eleanor to the ground, clutching the right side of his face, and cursed, "Eleanor, you're insane. How could you be so cruel to Kathy? Don't you know it's killing me with pain?" Eleanor was stunned for a long moment before coming back to her senses. "Dad, why are you becoming just like Mom?" she screamed at the top of her lungs. "I just lightly hit Kathy, and your heart aches this much, Dad?" Mr. James sighed, just as he was about to explain. His entire body began to tremble uncontrollably. It seemed the electric current was taking effect. He didn't dare blame me, so he directed all his resentment toward Eleanor instead, immediately issuing a command to her. "From now on, if you dare lay a finger on Kathy again, I'll send you off to study in Mauritius." With that, he shouted for the driver to take him to the hospital. The system binding was lightning fast, considering Mr. James's previous, kind treatment of me. I had the system set his pain sensitivity to 10,000 times normal. He's more ruthless than Ms. Fiona. I like that. I imagine Ms. Fiona, thousands of miles away, must be feeling the sting of that slap too. As soon as Mr. James slammed the door, Eleanor received a phone call. She accidentally pressed the speaker button, and I clearly heard Ms. Fiona's scolding voice coming through the phone. "Eleanor, haven't I told you multiple times? I said stop hitting Kathy. Are you ignoring my words? If this happens again, I'll cut off all your allowance." Furious, Eleanor was about to hit me again. I didn't resist, just stared at her gloomily. "Don't you want your allowance anymore, or do you want to go farm in Mauritius?" She had no choice but to leave while cursing under her breath. As for me, I used the same method I used to ask Mom for money when asking Dad. Men just can't compare to women when it comes to enduring pain. I hadn't even used the third technique of torture methods before he transferred me 30 million. I originally wanted company shares, but feared moving too hastily. The first thing I did after getting the money was post a WeChat moment visible only to Eleanor. 30 million is from Daddy. He's taking me to a banquet tomorrow night. Eleanor had learned her lesson this time. The moment she saw the social media post, she didn't immediately come to pick a fight with me. Instead, she waited until class time and had someone lure me to the abandoned broadcasting room. As soon as I stepped into the broadcasting room, I saw Eleanor standing there with a group of thugs behind her. "You're done for, Kathy." The thugs were still whistling shrilly at me and laughing lewdly. I realized something was wrong and tried to run out immediately, but she beat me to the door. I pulled out my phone to call the police, only to find there was no signal here. Eleanor laughed wildly at my panicked expression. "Kathy, aren't you so amazing? Fooling Mom and Dad left and right. Let's see today if they'll still love you the same when you become crippled." Instead of confronting her head-on, I tried to reason with Eleanor. "Eleanor, isn't it only right that they treat me well? If it weren't for your rapist father who switched us at birth, I wouldn't have had to endure such a terrible life in your place, and you wouldn't have enjoyed such a wonderful one. Instead of thanking me, why do you keep trying to kill me? Don't forget Mom and Dad warned you not to hit me again. If you dare lay a hand on me, they won't let you off the hook." Eleanor burst into laughter as if she'd heard the funniest joke. She pointed around. "There's no signal or surveillance here. How could they possibly prove it was me?" "Relax, I'm always very thorough. I'll wipe away all fingerprints and such." I watched as she put on gloves while speaking. Step by step approaching me, I struggled desperately to break free, but I was pinned down by a group of burly men, completely unable to escape. I kept begging her for mercy, but it was useless. I could only watch helplessly as she struck my legs several times with a baseball bat. Unable to control myself, I collapsed to the ground. The pain didn't come, but the bat shattered. I secretly rejoiced, thinking Mr. James and Ms. Fiona must be in so much pain they're about to ascend to heaven. I pretended to be in agony and let out several cries. Eleanor crouched down and patted my cheek. No matter how loud you scream, no one will come to save you. I raised an eyebrow and spoke in a volume only she and I could hear. How can you be so sure no one will come to save me? She instantly realized something, but it was too late. The door was kicked open. A group of classmates walked in angrily and started yelling at her. Eleanor, you're so vicious. After stealing someone else's place, you now want to kill them. Eleanor had always pretended to be the epitome of kindness and innocence in class, playing the role of a pure white lotus. Now that her facade has been exposed and her wicked deeds laid bare, her face turned as colorful as a rainbow. This wasn't the most fatal part. What was even more devastating was that all of this was witnessed by her nominal fiancé, William. I was framed. All of this was orchestrated by Kathy. A tear rolled down from the corner of my eye, looking fragile and broken. This was something I had practiced all night. Eleanor, do you take us all for fools? How could I have orchestrated this? Did I hold a knife to your throat and force you to hire someone to break my leg? Enough. William interrupted Eleanor just as she was about to speak. He walked over to me, picked me up, and as he passed by Eleanor, he said, Eleanor, I'm very disappointed in you. And I took that opportunity to mouth a silent word at Eleanor. Eleanor, I've been setting you up since that moment on social media. That gathering was the current Elite Offspring networking event. My solo attendance inevitably made Eleanor suspect she was being ostracized by the James family, so she took the desperate gamble of trying to break my leg. Eleanor lost control and screamed, I knew it was you all along. You're behind all of this. As she spoke, she tried to rush forward again to grab and hit me. William quickly pulled me aside to dodge, and all the classmates, seeing this, immediately gathered protectively in front of me, glaring angrily at Eleanor. Then I took the opportunity to pull out my phone and pointed at Eleanor. Eleanor, I never thought you could be so wicked. Now, I have no choice but to let the law correct you. Eleanor's face gradually paled, and her legs seemed about to give way. She realized that if I called the police, even the immense power of the James family wouldn't be able to shield her from the consequences. I thoroughly enjoyed the process of tormenting her, which is why I pressed the keys with such speed. Just as the call was about to connect, a figure flashed by and snatched my phone away. I turned around and saw Mr. James and Ms. Fiona sat in wheelchairs, pushed by bodyguards. A group of bodyguards followed behind, dispersing my classmates and warning them not to spread rumors. After handing me over to the bodyguards, William also left. I looked at Mr. James with tears streaming down my face. Dad, why did you stop me from calling the police? You have no idea how brutally Eleanor hit me. She nearly broke the stick. Sure enough, Mr. James's expression changed instantly, and I continued to stir the fire by saying, I just told her, Dad won't allow you to hit me anymore. But Eleanor seemed to ignore it. Dad, you must stand up for me. Enough, Mr. James interrupted impatiently, motioning to Eleanor with a wave of his hand. Eleanor, come here for a moment. Eleanor saw that Mr. James was favoring her, so she triumphantly ran toward him with joyful steps, but what greeted her was a resounding slap. Smack. Dad, you wicked girl, you've ruined me. That was a multi-billion-dollar project. Mr. James kept venting his anger by pointing at Eleanor's head, and even Mrs. Fiona joined the fray. Eleanor's gaze shifted from dazed to venomous. No wonder Mr. James and Mrs. Fiona were so furious. According to the assistant I bribed, today, in front of over 100 people, just as they were about to sign the contract, the two of them seemed possessed. They suddenly collapsed, screaming, my legs hurt so much, so much, so much. Before fluids began leaking from their lower bodies, the entire venue was filled with a foul stench, and photos of the two of them were posted online, causing quite a stir. This led to a drop in stock prices. And seeing the situation, partners immediately refused to renew contracts. Now, the stock prices kept falling further. They only calmed down after beating them for a full 5 minutes. Mr. James instructed the bodyguards, send her to a small island in Mauritius and keep her confined there. Without my orders, neither of you is to return. Daddy, please don't. Daddy, I was wrong. Won't you forgive me, Mom? Please talk to Daddy for me. Until Eleanor's figure had completely disappeared, Mrs. Fiona did not attempt to persuade Mr. James. Their gazes kept shifting between me and Eleanor. The look they gave Eleanor was one of disgust, while the one they directed at me was filled with murderous intent. Could it be? Are they still trying to protect her? Well, I won't indulge them. I pulled out a backup phone from my pocket. I'm sorry, Dad, but I still plan to call the police, Mr. James showed no sign of panic as he took the cigar handed to him by his bodyguard. Tell me, how much compensation do you want to drop the charges? Since he was being so straightforward, I didn't beat around the bush and directly named my price. I want all the shares of the James family company under your names. Impossible, Kathy, you're being too greedy, Mr. James and Ms. Fiona screamed in unison. If you refuse to comply, the news will surely report that you failed to educate your daughter properly, openly disregarding the law and treating human life as worthless. Do you think your stock price will plummet so badly even your own mother wouldn't recognize it? And won't your competitors seize this opportunity to kick you while you're down? Mr. James and Ms. Fiona exchanged glances but remained silent. It seems only the ultimate trump card remains. I broke free from the bodyguard's embrace and bounced over to stand in front of them. Sure enough, their eyes showed no surprise, only resentment. I suppose you've all figured out by now that the system is harmless to me but useful only to you, since you're all so tough. Let me test just how thick the arteries in your necks really are. With that, I pulled a fruit knife from my pocket and lightly drew it across my neck. The next second, Mr. James and Ms. Fiona's necks began to bleed profusely. Seems their skin is thick enough. Didn't even hit an artery. Then I'll give them another cut. With that, I started gesturing with the knife again. Don't, Mr. James immediately stopped me. Kathy, I am your biological father after all. Do you really have to make things so tense? Kathy, even though I didn't raise you for long, you were still born from my 10 months of pregnancy. Ms. Fiona spoke while tears fell from her eyes. I couldn't help but recall everything I experienced in my past life. After my death, Mr. James and Ms. Fiona cursed at my corpse, saying, "Why did you have to come back? If it weren't for you, my son wouldn't have become a murderer. What a hassle to have to deal with your body. We even have to spend money to settle this mess. You're nothing but a jinx, a curse." The next day, my corpse was found in a pig pen in the mountains. Anger and resentment surged in my heart. My hands involuntarily clenched tighter. I remained silent, only smiling faintly while raising the knife closer to my neck. In the end, both of them conceded defeat. Mr. James let out a long sigh. Fine. Next Monday I'll host a ball, where I'll publicly sign the shares over to you. He was afraid I wouldn't agree, so his tone grew more forceful. If you don't agree, Kathy, then just keep cutting with that knife. I wasn't raised to be scared either. At worst, we'll go our separate ways. Death is just death. We've lived long enough to make it worth it. Ms. Fiona opened her mouth to speak but was sternly stopped by Mr. James. I looked at Mr. James' nervous expression and nodded. All right, we'll transfer the contract next week then. James, no matter what schemes you have, I won't let you succeed. After Kevin found out that Eleanor had been sent to Mauritius by Mr. James, he immediately rushed over to plead with Mr. James and Ms. Fiona. Various sounds came from the study, including intense arguments and the pig slaughter-like cries of pain from Mr. James and Ms. Fiona. The story ended with Kevin storming out and slamming the door in anger. As I passed by, Kevin didn't forget to shake his fist at me in threat. Kathy, I don't care what kind of sweet talk you've fed Mom and Dad, but as long as I'm around, don't expect to have an easy life. I fearlessly met his gaze and made an encouraging gesture. Go for it. I'm really looking forward to seeing the day you can show us a good life. Eleanor must be terrified all alone in Mauritius. I wonder if she'll cry. After hearing this, Kevin didn't continue arguing with me and rushed off to his room in a hurry. I peered through the crack in the study door and saw the floor covered with white papers, all scribbled with incomprehensible handwriting. Those two old bastards are up to their sinister tricks again. After returning to my room, I transferred the money from my earlier gold sale to another overseas account. Once everything was done, I sent a text message. The money has been transferred. Please handle the matter as soon as possible. Kevin flew to Mauritius to find Eleanor, and his presence was nowhere to be seen until the banquet began. After my repeated urging, James reluctantly took the microphone to speak. It is my great honor to invite everyone to attend the welcome back party for my daughter Kathy. I would like to announce something to everyone here. My wife, Ms. Fiona, and I have decided to transfer all our shares to our son Kevin, and he will take charge of the company's operations. Applause erupted from the audience. I was trembling uncontrollably with rage. James, how dare you play dirty? You don't want me, Mr. James and Ms. Fiona subtly restrained my left and right hands respectively. A triumphant smirk appeared on James's face. Kathy, you think you can threaten me? Not a chance. Now, I've transferred all my assets to my son, do whatever you want with that knife. We've lived long enough anyway, but think carefully, once we're gone, you'll have no leverage left, and Kevin will surely come after you. On the contrary, if you spare our lives, you can continue living the luxurious life of a young lady. Mrs. Fiona also chimed in to persuade, Kathy, considering you're a piece of flesh that fell from my womb, I forgive your past actions. As long as you don't act recklessly from now on, you can enjoy endless wealth and honor. I didn't speak, just kept staring at the two of them until they grew uneasy. Only then did I slowly begin to speak. Are you two so sure that system only works for you and not for Kevin, Mr. James's face suddenly changed as he pulled me aside to ask for clarification. But the next second, everyone's exclamations drew our attention. The large screen was showing Kevin pulling Eleanor into some improper conduct. Gasps of shock spread through the audience below. My God, aren't they siblings? How could they do such a thing? What a disgrace to the James family. If we let them run the company, how can we protect the interests of the other shareholders? A shareholder shouted at Mr. James, James, your son has committed such a scandalous act, yet you still plan to hand the company over to him. You're disregarding the interests of all us shareholders. You must give us shareholders an explanation for this matter. Other onlookers quickly took out their phones to snap photos and upload them. Within just a few seconds, it became a trending topic online. I secretly felt pleased. Seems the money wasn't wasted, and admired my own top-notch observational skills. Kevin had feelings for Eleanor that went beyond sibling love. Something I learned on the day of my death in my previous life. Eleanor was already heartbroken over being rejected by William and exiled from the country, so Kevin's sudden appearance felt like a lifeline to her. When Kevin went abroad, I sent people to add fuel to the fire for their romance. This way, everyone could enjoy such a delightful spectacle. Mr. James instantly understood and grabbed my hand, asking, Kathy, you're truly vicious. I pushed him away. Can't be helped. I inherited your vicious genes, instead of blaming me here. You'd better think about how to clean up this mess. I drew the knife across my neck, and a matching cut appeared on Kevin's neck on the screen. Are you sure you want to keep being stubborn? Don't forget, my name is already on the household register. If you all die, the inheritance will ultimately fall into my hands. If James could breathe fire, I'd probably have turned to ashes by now. His eyes were red as he took several deep breaths before gritting his teeth and saying, Kathy, you win. He and Ms. Fiona supported each other as they stumbled back onto the stage. I declare that my earlier statement, transferring all shares under my wife's and my name to our son Kevin and letting him take charge, is hereby revoked. All the shares under my wife's and my name are to be gifted to our daughter Kathy. I seized the opportunity to hand him the documents I had prepared in advance. James's breathing grew heavier, and under my gaze, he reluctantly signed the agreement. Within just a few minutes, the trending topics online shifted from the scandalous affairs of Eleanor and Kevin to praising me as a young achiever. The company's official account also published an article. Although Kevin was abroad, he received the information quite quickly. He bought a return ticket and that very night, he kidnapped me, Mr. James, and Ms. Fiona. Mr. James and Ms. Fiona haven't woken up yet. Kevin started with me, using a razor blade to trace lines on my face. Kathy, tell me what kind of spell you've cast on our parents to make them adore you so much. They love you so much they exiled Eleanor abroad, love you so much they're giving you all the family assets, and they let you spread those videos everywhere. Do you have any idea how many people have laughed in my face? It's all because you and Eleanor are useless. I sneered coldly. Eleanor is both stupid and wicked. With just a little trick, she fell for it like a fool and tried to kill me. With that, I spat on Kevin's face. As for you, you're just a disgusting scumbag who dared to have improper thoughts about your own sister. Eleanor isn't even my real sister. We're truly in love. Kevin tried to grab Eleanor's hand to flaunt their relationship in front of me. However, Eleanor didn't notice this situation. She rushed excitedly towards Mr. James and Mrs. Fiona, pushing forward as she said, Did you hear that, Mom and Dad? Kathy orchestrated all of this. I'd been framed. But Mr. James and Mrs. Fiona had inhaled too much of the sedative and were still not fully conscious. Ms. Fiona opened her mouth to speak but was interrupted by my laughter. Mom and Dad have always known it was my plan. To them, you're just a dog they raised. While I am the James family's sole heir, whether they send you abroad or to Myanmar. They wouldn't object. Shut up, Kathy, Kevin roared. If you want to be the James family heir, you'll have to ask this knife in my hand first. With that, he was about to slash my neck with a knife. Stop, mister. James used all his strength to roll over and knocked Kevin's knife away. Kevin seemed utterly shattered. Dad, do you have to favor Kathy so much? No, it's not like that. Son, listen to me. The reason I'm giving all my assets to Kathy is because I have a secret I can't reveal. Kevin picked up the knife, waving it wildly, screaming like a madman. Then tell me, what exactly is this secret you can't reveal? Yes, because, Mr. James and Ms. Fiona trembled violently. What on earth is the reason? Kevin, losing patience, raised a knife and lunged at me. Since you love her so much, I'll finish her off right in front of you. Don't kill Kathy. She's bound the three of us to a system that takes her injuries for her. If you kill her, she won't die. It'll be the three of us who die instead. I was stunned for several seconds, murmuring to myself, how could you say it? Isn't there supposed to be punishment? Ms. Fiona sneered. Your system underestimated a mother's power. What kind of bullshit system is this? Do you really think this is some kind of novel? Eleanor pushed Kevin, who stood frozen in place, completely at a loss. Your parents were lying to you. They did all that just to make you let Kathy go, son. Your mother really didn't lie to you. It was all true. If you don't believe me, just hit Kathy and see. Mr. James also shouted from the side. Dad really didn't lie to you. This system is real. I couldn't help but curl my lips into a smile, only for Eleanor to notice. She shouted at Kevin, look, Kathy is smiling. This is all her scheme. Don't fall for it. Damn it, you dare to fool me. Kevin's knife was about to stab at me again, but it was stopped once more. And this time it was indeed Eleanor who intervened. Eleanor curled her lips. Don't kill her yet. Since she made our video known to everyone, let's make her taste the same medicine. She waved at the thug 5 meters away, who leered at me and started walking over. I opened my mouth wide and cursed. Eleanor, you're insane. Eleanor, don't do this. Kevin, stop her quickly. Otherwise, the ones who'll suffer will be the three of us. Mother and children, the desperate pleas of Mrs. Fiona and Mr. James didn't make Kevin stop. Instead, he slapped each of them hard across the face. You old bastard. Still trying to deceive me on your deathbed. Kevin, believe me, Mom and Dad didn't lie to me. As the thug was about to grab my hand, instead of silently summoning the system, I shouted loudly, System, upgrade for me. Make those thugs mistake Kevin for me, and temporarily lift the Mr. James and Ms. Fiona suffer in my place system for 3 minutes. The corner of my eye caught sight of the couple. After all, they are my biological parents. I can't possibly do anything that would invite divine retribution. A mechanical voice sounded, Host, the system upgrade is complete. Kevin's eyes widened in shock. What? This system is actually real. Before he could finish speaking, the burly man was already coming at him. No matter how loudly Mr. James and Ms. Fiona shouted, or how hard Eleanor tried to pull him away, the burly man wouldn't stop. I couldn't help but sneer at Kevin's appearance. Kevin, taste the suffering I endured in my past life. Let's see if you can still brush it off so lightly. 3 minutes later, the burly men snapped out of it and fled in terror. Meanwhile, I had already untied the ropes and hidden in a spot I had previously scouted, with 3 bodyguards standing in front of me. "Aw!" Kevin screamed, looking around but failing to find me. He vented all his fury on Mr. James and Ms. Fiona, stabbing while cursing. Why didn't you tell me about this system earlier? Did you enjoy watching me get humiliated? Son, I did tell you. It's that wicked woman Eleanor who made you not believe it. Kevin stopped and raised the knife, walking toward Eleanor. Mom and Dad just told me. Why are you saying they lied to me? Do you know how much you've ruined me? A grown man like me, wailing like this. Chen Kong, I didn't mean to. It was all Kathy's scheme. The sound of police sirens echoed outside the window. Kevin wiped away his tears. Eleanor, I can't go on living. Let's die together. After saying this, he stabbed Eleanor several times as well. He didn't stop until the police rushed in to intervene. Mr. James and Ms. Fiona were lying in a pool of blood. Before they took their last breath, I leaned close to their ears and whispered, by the way, I forgot to tell you, it wasn't your maternal love that defeated the system. I was the one who made the system go easy on you. Kevin could have died peacefully, but you made his death extraordinary. What wonderful parents you are. Poison, poison. Before the woman could finish speaking, they both died of rage. When Kevin was taken away by the police, he suddenly shouted at me, Kathy, what kind of curse did you cast? The ending was supposed to be your death. So why did mom and dad die instead? So you've come back too. That's just perfect. I'll make sure you spend your time in prison reliving today's agony. It wasn't just Kevin who returned, Eleanor did too. After I handed over Eleanor, who was completely paralyzed and severely disfigured, to her biological mother who had just been released from prison, Eleanor was so furious that she cursed at me. Kathy, don't get too smug. Don't forget that in your past life, you were in a much worse state than I am now. I looked at the bed covered in excrement and the swarm of flies buzzing around her, unconsciously covering my mouth and nose. Since you think your life is still wonderful, I don't mind making it more miserable. I've sent your address to the classmates you used to bully. Good luck, Kathy, you'll face divine retribution. I curse you to die a horrible death. I could still hear Eleanor's voice intermittently even after walking 20 meters away. Don't worry, Eleanor, my life from now on will only shine brightly, while yours will rot and stink. On the day Kevin was sentenced to death, I sold all my shares in the company. Half of the money I donated as an education fund for women in impoverished mountainous areas, and the other half became my travel fund to enjoy life around the world. I finally lived a life of wealth, happiness, and freedom. I took the opportunity to show off in front of Eleanor, after hearing the first story above. What are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. I am the long-lost biological daughter just recognized by the wealthiest family. The moment I returned home, the fake heiress tearfully apologized to me, offering to give up her room for me. The drama of the real and fake heiresses vying for the affection of their parents and brothers, as gossiped about by classmates, was about to unfold. As for me, while downing 2 buckets of milk and devouring 20 greasy fried eggs in one go, I said, thanks, but no thanks. I have to study and don't have time for this. When the fake heiress framed me, my own brother declared he would only ever acknowledge her as his sister. I said it didn't matter, but since I didn't have a phone yet, he should buy me one first so I could listen to English audio. The fake heiress fights for the affection of our billionaire parents. Me, whatever. As long as I'm not starving and have enough pocket money to pay tuition, that's all that matters. The fake heiress flaunts her superiority to me. Jiang-hee, you can't compete with me. Mom and dad are mine. I remain expressionless. Oh, take them all. I don't want any of them. Not my birth father, mother, or brother. All I want is to study, and that's all I need. Hearing my words, Jiang Mingyu is stunned for a moment, but soon she puts on her pitiful white lotus act again. Sister, was it my crying that made you uncomfortable? Please don't be upset. I just couldn't hold it back earlier. I'm sorry for taking your spot. Woo-woo. I ignored her and continued speaking to Jiang's parents. My academic performance is very poor right now. I'm in my first year of high school. If you have the means, please transfer me to Hengshan High School for intensive training as soon as possible. If there's nothing else, I'll go back to my room to study now, Mr. Jiang was taken aback by my disregard for them, reaching out as if wanting to say something but hesitating. Xiaohe, you, Jiang's mother burst into tears at the sight. Xiaohe, we are your family. Jiang Minji, holding Jiang Mingyu, shouted at me, you ill-mannered brat. This is my bank account number. If being your child comes with an allowance, please transfer me a share. Thank you. Ignoring Jiang Mingyu's sobs and the shouts from Jiang's parents, I handed the bank card to Jiang's father. Then, I directly asked the maid in uniform to take me to the guest room. After she brought me food and milk, I immediately started memorizing the difficult physics textbook. I don't care about the Jiang family or my biological parents. All I know is that I want to go to college now, and I want to attend the best university possible. For someone as mediocre as me, the only way to achieve my goals is through studying with all my might. That evening, Jiang Mingyu confronted me and said viciously, Jiang-hee, I underestimated you. I never thought a country bumpkin like you could be so cunning, but someone like you isn't even worthy of being my opponent. I'll make sure you understand that. Jiang Mingyu wore a triumphant expression. Finally, as footsteps approached outside the door, she grabbed my hand and then threw herself violently onto the ground. Sister, sob, sister, even if you hate me, how could you push me to the ground? I have the citywide violin competition tomorrow. Sob, sister, I'm sorry. It's my fault for taking your place, for stealing the love of mom, dad, and brother. I'm sorry, sob. Jiang Mingyu cried and pleaded loudly. Soon, Jiang Minji rushed in and shoved me to the ground, shouting, Jiang-hee, how could you be so cruel? Your misfortune isn't Mingyu's fault. She's innocent. After venting his anger at me, Jiang Minji quickly stepped forward to pick up Mingyu. Asking tenderly, Mingyu, how are you? Where are you hurt? Let me see, woo-woo, brother. Jiang Mingyu buried her head in Jiang Minji's embrace, her voice soft and sweet, whimpering helplessly like a small animal. Jiang Minji comforted her gently, don't worry, the one I've cherished from childhood to now is you. You've always been my sister, and in this lifetime, I'll only acknowledge you as my sister. I have no objection to that. My voice was firm and sharp. You can acknowledge Jiang Mingyu and not me. Jiang Minji looked up in shock upon hearing my words. But could you buy me a phone, get a SIM card, and prepay for 5 years of service? I know you spend more than that on just one gift for Jiang Mingyu each year. I looked at Jiang Minji earnestly. A phone, and I won't compete with Jiang Mingyu for you. You'll just be Jiang Mingyu's brother. Jiang Minji seemed utterly shocked after hearing this, as if suddenly realizing something. He released Jiang Mingyu and turned his gaze toward me, his eyes reddening once more, his fingers trembling uncontrollably. This time, his reddened eyes seemed to be for me. The way he scrutinized me so carefully, was he looking at the features that bore a 70% resemblance to his own? But I didn't care. All I wanted was the phone. I needed a phone with internet access to download some English audio files. I never understand English listening comprehension and always choose C. For a 30-point test, I can only consistently score 6 points. The teacher speaks too fast, and I can't focus my attention or keep up, so I often don't remember the English lessons in class and can't catch up afterward. This is the part that gives me the biggest headache. Of course, classmates also say you can look up math and physics tutorials on your phone, and there are ways to get detailed problem-solving steps and teacher explanations for questions. I need that too, originally. I planned to ask the housekeeper aunt the next day about what apps I should get for this phone, but I couldn't wait, so when Jiang Minji came, I decided to ask him first. Since they look down on me and don't want me to be part of their family, it's fine, I don't have to be either, just give me the phone. The next morning, I woke up early and went to the kitchen. I took a whole pot of milk, a full plate of about 12 fried eggs, and a large piece of bread, then sat in the kitchen and ate. My birth parents are so wealthy, I can finally afford milk and eggs, and not just any eggs, but fried ones with oil. I need to eat more, so I won't feel dizzy every day, unable to focus in class, and needing to review knowledge points too many times to remember them. I need to eat until I'm full. I need to eat these nutritious foods to nourish my brain so it can function properly and give my body strength. Just as I finished eating the eggs, I heard Jiang Mingyu calling out, Dad, Mom, I didn't see you in the dining room. Why did you go to the kitchen? I turned around and saw Jiang's mother leaning on Jiang's father's shoulder, covering her mouth as she cried, tears streaming down her face. Jiang's father's eyes were red, just like Jiang Minji's gaze. Filled with guilt or perhaps pity, I have nothing to explain, nor do I need their sympathy. I simply walked past them and left. It's the winter break of my first semester in the second year of high school, ranked in the bottom 50 out of 300 in my grade. I have no time to indulge in the melodramatic, you don't love me, I'm so heartbroken, or, you must love me, I'm your real daughter. Theatrics that my classmates talk about. Wasting even a second with them would make my life a little worse. That's unacceptable. Later that day, while I was struggling to memorize my biology textbook in my room, Father Jiang came to see me. He handed me my bank card and a beautiful handbag. I deposited 1 million into your card, and I also withdrew 100,000 in cash. You're still young, and it's not appropriate for you to have too much money. Spend it first, and if it's not enough, just ask me for more. I smiled politely, bowed, and said, Okay, thank you, Dad. Shall he, you, Mr. Jiang hesitated again, then finally left. It's just strange. When I first entered the house, it was this same person who looked at me with defensive and threatening eyes the moment Jiang Mingyu cried. Why is he acting so oddly now? Jiang Minji also came to find me and said, This is the latest model of the fruit phone. The SIM card is already set up with unlimited data. And there's 100,000 yuan worth of credit stored in it, enough for you to use for years. I've also installed the messaging and payment apps for you and set up accounts. There's 100,000 yuan deposited in the payment app. Thank you. I finally cheered up. Don't worry, I'll keep my promise. I won't compete with Jiang Mingyu for you in the future, and I won't acknowledge you as my brother. Jiang Minji's face turned red with anger on the spot. You, suit yourself. He snapped before storming off as if his pants were on fire. Really, he told me not to acknowledge him, but when I didn't, he got upset. Whatever, I don't have time to play games with these rich folks right now. I need to study. After some exploration, I finally discovered the magical software called a browser. I started asking it all sorts of questions and began downloading various free learning and practice apps from the App Store. Hello Xiaohe, my name is Wu Mengli. I graduated from Tsinghua University. Your parents think you might be under some academic pressure. Since I scored quite well in the college entrance exam, they wanted me to share some insights and have a discussion with you. Mengli was very candid, saying she was a psychological counselor, essentially a therapist, and that from the moment I entered the house, I had exhibited an obsessive fixation on studying. They suspected it might be stress-related trauma disorder, so they invited her, a therapist, to evaluate me. I cooperated fully, because I thought she might be able to solve my problem of not being able to focus on reading. At the end of our conversation, I said, I know I'm not cheerful, that I'm obsessive, maybe what you'd call moderately depressed and obsessive, but don't tell them, and I won't take any medication. There was an old woman in our village who lost her husband and son. She was listless all day, crying, and would cut her wrists with a knife. They said it was depression, but after taking medication, she seemed to have more energy, but her mind wasn't as sharp anymore. I said, I won't take the medicine, I want to go to college. Mengli looked at me with gentle eyes and said, you don't have to, it's okay, you can keep going even with some heaviness and depression. We humans can walk forward while letting sorrow pass through us. She also asked, is there anything else you'd like to ask me? I asked, what can I do to get into a better university? Yes, my obsession, getting into university, all other needs, all the trivial stuff, can wait. I must get into university. Finally, Mengli reassured me, saying that choosing a high-pressure school like Hengshan High, which is akin to military training, is fine, but I need to allow myself room for gradual progress, be primal, like a wild person, letting emotions pass through my body as they come, and then, take it slow. I said okay. I got a new phone and downloaded a bunch of practice exam sets from Hengshui High School on a shopping app. I also ordered bedding, a wash basin, some buns, and milk for my dorm stay. That night, I was packing up properly, ready to move into the dorm the next day, when Jiang Mingyu came to see me again. Jiang He, you really know how to play the pitiful, depressed act well. Jiang Mingyu was wearing a sleek, shiny, pink, and obviously high-end nightgown, looking like a princess scolding a maid. She crossed her arms and glared at me sideways, saying, but I'm not like mom, dad, or brother. I won't be fooled by a country bumpkin like you. I said, believe it or not, I'm not trying to compete with you. My new 50 yuan cotton autumn clothes, shipped for free, were also soft and warm, and I bought 3 full sets. Jiang Mingyu got angry as soon as she heard this. She stepped closer, grabbed the collar of my autumn clothes, lowered her voice, and said fiercely, Jiang He, how dare you say you're not competing with me? You're not competing with me. You deliberately acted like you didn't care about mom, dad, and brother, saying you only wanted a phone, desperately highlighting how hard your life was before. You're not competing with me. You put on such a pitiful act in front of mom and dad, pretending to be starving, poorly dressed, and utterly destitute, making them focus only on you. You're not competing with me. You put on this miserable act, making everyone in this family feel sorry for you. Jiang He, how dare you say you're not competing with me? Do you know, before you came back, I was their only treasure. Why did you have to come back? Jiang Mingyu clenched my collar tightly, gritting her teeth, the hatred in her eyes seeming capable of killing me 10,000 times over. I pried her fingers off my collar one by one, locking eyes with her as I said, but Jiang Mingyu, these were originally my parents, my brother, and my home, the one who should have been impoverished, unable to afford medical treatment when sick, going hungry every day, stunted in intellectual development, unable to focus in class, and being a country bumpkin, was supposed to be you. Jiang Mingyu's eyes turned red with anger as she glared at me, almost as if they were about to bleed. Then, she suddenly laughed. So you're feeling proud, aren't you, Jiang He? The Jiang family, the wealthiest in the city, wants a refined young lady, and people, they're emotional creatures. You've never spent a single day with mom and dad, while I've been their beloved daughter for 16 whole years. Even if you're their biological daughter and my brother's real sister, do you really think they'd choose you over me? Jiang Mingyu chuckled lightly. Jiang He, I'm Mingyu, the bright jade. And you're just a weed. They won't choose you, understand? Jiang Mingyu, I really don't want to compete with you. I don't care about anything except going to college. Okay, that's enough for now. It's time for me to memorize vocabulary. Please leave and don't disturb me. I've already lost 10 minutes. Who knows how many words I could have learned by now. I pushed Jiang Mingyu out. She sneered and said, Jiang He, you can't compete with me. I'll make you recognize your place, Dad, Mom. Brother, the one they love more will always be me. I didn't care anymore and had already started reciting, abandon, Mom, my sister is already under so much academic pressure and struggling to keep up. Won't it be even harder for her at Hengshan High? Why not let her come to Diao High instead? I'm there, so I can take care of her if anything comes up. Besides, if her grades aren't great, a prestigious school like Diao would give her more options. She could explore hobbies, build connections, and even keep the door open for studying abroad in the future. Don't you think so? The next morning, after breakfast, as my parents were about to take me to school, Jiang Mingyu suddenly clung to Mom's arm and started whining. Jiang Mingyu then turned to Dad and said, Dad, don't you think I make sense? I was so worried about my sister going to Hengshan High that I couldn't sleep at all last night. Loud Jiang, I hadn't really thought of that before, Mom said. Glancing at Dad before squeezing Jiang Mingyu's hand, Mom always knew our Mingyu was a good girl, looking out for her sister. Xiaohe's psychological state is indeed concerning. His obsession with studying and the immense pressure he's under, combined with such high-intensity learning, is really not good. Last time, the psychologist already said Xiaohe can't handle strong stimulation anymore. Father Jiang discussed with Mother Jiang before directly instructing his secretary beside him. Kane, make arrangements in advance for Xiaohe's enrollment at Diao. My wife and I will take Mingyu and Xiaohe there later. Don't you want to ask for my opinion? Sometimes, when you're utterly speechless, you really do just laugh. Where I go to study, they clearly have the means to arrange it as I wish, but just one word from Jiang Mingyu sways them, and they decide everything on their own. I'm standing right in front of them, a whole grown person, sis. Mom and Dad just want what's best for you, with your mental state. If the intense academic pressure becomes too much and something happens, we wouldn't be able to take care of you right away. Plus, for your development, Diao is a prestigious high school where the curriculum is very flexible, the teachers are outstanding, and you'll have plenty of options. If you decide to pursue the college entrance exam route, the school has specialized teachers to guide you. Many programs are directly aligned with foreign universities, making it very convenient if you plan to study abroad later. Jiang Mingyu, standing before her parents, looked like a beautiful doll with eyes full of innocence and boundless kindness, a little princess version, utterly obedient. Xiaohe, Mingyu is right, just follow our arrangements, we won't steer you wrong, mister, Jiang said gently. I said, I want to study at Hengshan High School. I glared at them coldly. Sister. Maybe because you grew up in a small town, you don't quite understand. Diao is really the better choice, Mom, Dad, and I truly aren't lying to you, Jiang Mingyu said, her voice breaking into sobs. Sister, I'm sorry, I wanted to do what's best for you. It's all my fault, but I really only have your best interests at heart. Father Jiang looked at me, his eyes clearly impatient. We've already told you, your perspective is limited. Mingyu and I have seen more of the world. We wouldn't harm you. Get in the car, old Jiang. She just came back and doesn't know anything. What are you doing? Seeing Father Jiang's tone turning harsh, Mother Jiang quickly nudged him. Jiang's mother gently comforted me. Xiaohe, Mom and Dad would never harm you. The elite high school is better for you than a public one. You'll understand once you go. Just give it a try. Okay. In the end, I got in the car. It was a spacious, high-end vehicle resembling a small shuttle bus. I sat in a middle seat, while Jiang Mingyu was surrounded by her parents, whispering intimately, You're the daughter we raised with our own hands. We know exactly how outstanding your character is and how exceptional you are. You were just being considerate of Xiaohe with good intentions. You did nothing wrong. How about Mom takes her precious daughter out for your favorite Japanese food this weekend? Didn't you say you liked that White House last time? Dad will have someone deliver it to you later. Mom wants one too, Dad. Don't forget. They were all enjoying their family bliss, while I, covering the answer, was desperately trying to figure out where to draw the auxiliary line. After completing the procedures with me at the principal's office, Jiang's parents left. I told you, you can't win against me, Jiang He. As soon as Jiang's parents were gone, Jiang Mingyu let go of my arm. Looking smug, she added, Enjoy your life of cold shoulders and exclusion, you useless bottom feeder. I ignored her, The reason I didn't fight tooth and nail before coming to Diao was because of the counselor Meng Li who came before. She told me that if I really struggled academically, I might as well try the sports route, especially since elite high schools have resources in that area. I can endure hardship. I've done so much farm work and built up my strength. Sports might be my breakthrough, my ticket to university. Just like Jiang Mingyu's violin was for her, truth be told. As a country bumpkin who can't string together two English sentences without a curry-flavored accent, or as the retard who still doesn't understand after the teacher explains 3 times, who studies during breaks, lunch, and at home yet can't score 50, no one at school wants to hang out with me. But how do you know I'm unhappy about no one playing with me? I'm actually quite happy because maintaining friendships also takes time, since I need to focus on studying and don't have the time. Being excluded and isolated is actually a good thing for me. I chose long-distance running as my elective. Back when I attended the elementary school in town, I had to get up at 5 a.m. every morning and run for 2.5 hours to cross a mountain. I run fast and have great endurance because I've been doing this for 9 whole years. I also took up volleyball. Since I chop and carry firewood every day, I'm strong and have great stamina. One advantage of this elite high school is that as long as I show interest in something and request it, even if the school doesn't currently have a teacher for that particular skill, they'll immediately hire one. I drink a large jug of milk every morning and evening, eat a big plate of fried eggs, and have a hearty, greasy lunch. After starting long-distance running, I followed my teacher's advice and began eating beef and chicken daily, though my stomach often couldn't handle it, but I needed to replenish my body's nutrients. I wanted to become strong. Jiang Mingyu was always the center of attention, surrounded by admirers. As for me, in my own perception, I felt not the least bit inferior. Like a red mushroom after the rain, I kept growing in the damp, dark, narrow space hidden beneath the leaves. I grew darker and darker, my muscles becoming more and more defined, though my grades improved to the level of a second-tier college, and my English score rose from 9 to 90. As Jiang Mingyu put it, I still couldn't even touch her heels. Every time I returned to the Jiang household, I would almost always hear Jiang Mingyu cooing to her parents or Jiang Minji, "Mom, sister goes running and plays volleyball, and she's gotten so dark and stocky, let's take her with us for a spa next time. Dad, my classmates all say that sister might need to work a bit on her etiquette, and that she lacks any grace. Should we hire a good etiquette teacher to train her? Brother, sister always studies alone and doesn't have any friends. Let's take her to a party to have some fun." Jiang Mingyu loves to play the good person, but I really don't have time to deal with her. I'm not someone without temper or means. If I say no, then no one can drag me there, especially not the Jiang parents, who owe me, or the brother who has long since cut ties with me. Every time they insisted, I would get angry and refuse to go. Over time, this matter became Jiang Mingyu's project to showcase her love and kindness. Boring. Now my body has improved significantly. My long-distance running performance is good, and my mind has become much sharper with the nourishment of various supplements and nutritious foods. My ability to absorb knowledge has greatly increased, but I still need to wake up earlier, run faster, and improve my English and math a bit more. That way, I can get into a top-tier university. The college entrance exam scores were released, with the first-tier cutoff at 525 points, including my sports exam results. I scored 540 points in total. When it came time to fill out college applications, Zhang's father, mother, and Jiang Minji made their appearance again. Zhang's father said, "Although your score is nowhere near as good as Mingyu's, it's enough to study abroad. Why would you consider attending a second-tier medical school? At the very least, you should apply to a first-tier university." Zhang's mother added, "If you want to study medicine, Mom can ask your dad to find you a good university abroad. We can look into preparatory courses or other options to ensure you get a quality education." Jiang Minji said, "Your parents have more experience than you. Listen to us when filling out your college applications. It'll save you from many detours." "Exactly, sis. Our family has money. Let's go to a good university and choose a great major." Jiang Mingyu's insincere politeness was hardly surprising. "Do you need me to take over the family business?" I asked them. "Xiaohe, what do you mean?" Mother Jiang whispered. A cold smile curled at the corners of my mouth as I said, "If you don't need me to inherit the family business, then what I study shouldn't affect your plans anyway. My test scores, my future, these are mine to decide. Even if you find out from my teachers, it won't change anything. I won't alter my decision. I'll take responsibility for myself." I don't covet what's yours, and I don't need you to bail me out. So there's no need for you to worry, I added firmly. What I mean is, don't interfere with my decisions, I won't allow it, you don't know what's good for you. Jiang Minji immediately became anxious upon hearing this. How can we not be responsible for you and have your back? Xiaohe, we're your parents. Mrs. Jiang, who cried easily, started weeping again. Have my back, I said with a bitter laugh. There are 4 seasons in a year. Spring brings heavy rains, and the mountains are always muddy. It's so easy to slip and fall. Winter is bitterly cold, and my pants never quite cover my ankles. Oh, even if they did, it wouldn't matter because my shoes are a size too big and full of holes. The lining of those old leather shoes wore out long ago. They're stiff and don't block the wind at all. Care to guess how many times I've fallen and tumbled into some remote mountain gully? How many times I've narrowly escaped from bears and snakes? How many times I've wished someone would come and help me, but there wasn't. I could only rely on myself. Safety net. After I came home, did you ever hire a tutor for me? Did you ever check on my homework? Did you care about my grades? Did you know I ran long distance for the college entrance exams? If not, did you ever buy me a new pair of running shoes when mine wore out? You just think I'm not presentable. But do you know why I grab food? Why I drink gallons of milk and gobble down eggs? Especially oily ones. Do you know why? I've been back with the Jiang family for 2.5 years now. Has anyone ever asked me about my past life? About the hardships I've endured? If I hadn't spoken up, would you have ever considered what I might need? Fall back. I laughed bitterly. Dad, Mom, let me call you that for now. Since I've been admitted to university, I'll be moving out from now on. If you only love the son and daughter you've cherished for years, or the sister you've doted on for so long, then just keep loving them. I have no objections. You let me study, gave me money back then, ensured I didn't have to worry about finances during this time, and even helped me get into university. That's already more than enough. I consider you worthy of those titles. But, since you haven't fulfilled the duties of parents toward their child, don't expect me to obey you like one. Finally, I said everything in one breath. I took another sip of cherry juice and added, the money I've spent over the years, I'll pay it all back to you eventually. Don't worry. I didn't listen to what they said. After submitting my college applications, I returned the card to Father Jiang and immediately moved out to work summer jobs. After that, I unilaterally cut off all contact with the Jiang family and continued to study diligently for my undergraduate degree. I attended a second-tier university's medical school, majoring in clinical medicine with a minor in dentistry. For my master's degree, I went to a bottom-tier 211 university's medical school, studying clinical medicine with a focus on Alzheimer's disease research, Ph.D., 985 University, Medical School, Clinical Medicine, researching Alzheimer's disease. In the end, I developed the first method of this century capable of curing Alzheimer's disease, through a minor surgery. A specific nerve is activated to release certain factors. Soon after, I developed affordable dentures and low-cost traditional Chinese medicine that alleviates Alzheimer's symptoms without surgery. On the day I received the World Nobel Prize in Medicine for my research, standing on the highest podium, I finally felt a tightly wound nerve in my body relax at last. I couldn't hold back my tears while delivering the speech. The first thing I said was, I don't envy those who have parents, brothers, or other family members who love them selflessly. Never, because I too once had such a deeply cherished familial love. It was my grandmother. I choked up. She adopted me when she was already 60 years old. From as far back as I can remember, around 3 or 4 years old, she had to walk slowly with a cane. She could only carry small bundles of firewood, and after watering the vegetable garden once, her bent back would take half a day to straighten. Yet, it was this woman who adopted me. Every day, she would tell me, you must study. Only through studying can you have a future. To support a child with no blood relation through school, she dug out the gold tooth her son had made for her before he passed away, sold her most treasured dowry items, and despite being too old to work efficiently, she still tilled 2 acres of land by herself in her stiff and clumsy old age. But she gave me all her love, never letting me feel like I was a burden to her. She would pick out the tenderest part of the greens for me, hold me while singing lullabies whose tunes I could barely make out, and stand for hours in front of the village chief's house just to ask him to enroll me in school. I said, Grandma, one day I'll get you the best dentures. She replied, then you must study hard. Only by studying can you make something of yourself, and only then can you afford the best dentures for Grandma. Later, Grandma developed dementia, medically known as Alzheimer's disease. Her memory flickered between clarity and confusion, until eventually, she remembered nothing at all, yet she still murmured, "Hee hee, you must study. Studying is the way to success. Grandma will make sure you get an education. Hee hee must study." When I was in the first year of junior high, my grandmother passed away. All these years, what has kept me going is the determination to study. I must study, no matter what. I have to keep studying. Now, I smiled, looking towards the horizon. "Grandma, I've made it. I've made affordable and good quality dentures available to all who couldn't afford them, and I've cured your Alzheimer's. Grandma, can you see this?" After I shouted those words, I felt as if some shackle inside me had snapped and fallen to the ground. It was as if my grandmother was saying, "Hee hee, you're amazing. Grandma is so proud of you. But hee hee, you must keep moving forward and live your own life well." The dentures I developed, the medication to alleviate Alzheimer's, and the name of the surgery to cure Alzheimer's are all named after Grandma Zhao Qiuqiu. After seeing my speech on TV, Zhang's parents and Jiang Minji found me. "We're sorry, we've neglected you too much," Zhang's father and mother said. Jiang Minji also apologized. "Jiang He, I'm sorry." I smiled. "It's okay. Maybe the amount of family bonds one gets in a lifetime is predetermined. If I could meet Grandma, I think I've already hit the jackpot." Then I automatically tuned out their words, turned around, and walked away, because I had been deeply loved by my grandmother. The moment they came to pick me up and I saw their first glance, I knew they didn't love me. Luckily, I only loved my grandmother anyway. I heard later that Jiang Mingyu, after some soul-searching, went to confess to her parents and Jiang Minji about how she had targeted me, but none of them blamed her. It seemed the family of four all felt guilty for not giving me enough love and care. "Oh, it's okay. I only love Grandma anyway." After hearing the two stories above, what are your